Hey guys, Crypto Sunday. Relatively short video because I've still got a sore throat, and so has the portfolio. 3% down, nothing sort of too much really. It's less than the Nasdaq for the week, but yeah, we're still sort of trying to find a bottom. It should be sort of noted, I guess, that Bitcoin is up from the top, up from the recent bottom at sort of 76 and a half. Altcoin's still sort of struggling a little bit. But yeah, let's have a look at some of the news. There wasn't a huge amount of news, so even if I was sort of perfectly well, it might have been a short episode anyway. But just having a look at the coin shares report, I kind of knew this was going to be back to profitability or inflows as opposed to outflows, and we saw 644 million. This was led by Bitcoin, of course. Ethereum hasn't sort of caught up to the end of the outflows just yet. Still 86 million in outflows, and we'll come back to that on the more recent news. 724 into Bitcoin, a little bit into the multi-asset fund, and a little bit into Solana and XRP. Quite similar. They've been sort of similar for a couple of weeks now, where XRP was sort of quite strongly outperforming on inflows. Small outflow out of SUI, and 7 million outflow out of the short Bitcoin. So people are maybe sort of thinking that that's somewhat over. It's only 98 million in total assets under management, so 7 million being reduced on that is quite notable, and 2.2 million out of others. Looking at by country, it's nothing sort of too much really. It's all pretty much a wash. Outflows from Canada and Sweden, sort of offsetting inflows into Switzerland, Germany, and a couple of other small ones. So just looking at this past week, Ethereum has had pretty much no inflows at all. We had a day of zero on Monday, 3 days of very, very small outflows, and then a nothing across the board has marked the first inflow day sort of on the whole chart now, going back before the 10th of March, although it should be noted that the only inflow was into the expensive original Grayscale fund, so this likely isn't people betting on the price of Ethereum. It's just a basis trade. I don't see why anyone would buy the original Grayscale as opposed to the new Grayscale if you were, wanting to bet on long Ethereum. And over to Bitcoin. So we got a 10-day streak of inflows, sort of mostly around the $80 million. We had a 26 on Tuesday, and then ended the week at very, very quiet across the board. Obviously, it was a fairly down day for Bitcoin with the PCE report, but yeah, flat for everyone except Fidelity with a 93 million outflow. So nothing too bad on there, and I think we can take sort of 10 days of inflows as somewhat positive. Got some more buying from Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. This was on their strike stock from the looks of it, so this is the dividend paying one. I kind of think this is leading to sort of potentially the first sales of Bitcoin, but sometime down the road to be able to pay that dividend. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure when the first sort of dividends are actually due, but yeah, that could be a sort of negative point. It'll make the headlines, MicroStrategy selling Bitcoin if it does happen. But yeah, they bought 6,911 Bitcoin. Bitcoin yield, yes, whatever. And they now hold 506,000, average price up to 66,608. But then, hot off the heels of MicroStrategy, we got Gamestop's earnings release, and they said they have announced an update to its investment policy to add Bitcoin. So this had been sort of rumored for a little while, and yeah, this got confirmed on the 25th, and then on shortly later in the week, everyone was sort of getting excited, and the stock ran up. That they've got 5 billion in cash, and that they were going to put sort of a reasonable amount of that into Bitcoin. We don't know whether they will do that and this, but they've announced a MicroStrategy-like issue of convertible debt, $1.3 billion. So with this generally comes the people that buy these convertible notes, they short the stock. So the stock went down sort of 23%, I think, on the day, and obviously the news headlines, come out that all the sort of shareholders are anti this move, basically, when really it is just sort of, it could be some of that, of course, but a lot of it will be the people that are buying this debt, assuming that it sort of has been sold, then shorting the stock. But yeah, we'll have to see how much they end up buying. So similar to the other miners and MicroStrategy, these are 0% convertible notes due in 2030. So there's no dividend, and you just get your money back in 2030, or you convert it to common stock. And they have said they will be expecting to use the proceeds of this to invest in Bitcoin. But it's, as I say, unsure as to what they're going to do with their 5 billion in cash, which they sort of got from diluting shareholders when the stock was much higher. And yeah, they had up to an additional 200 million upsizing, basically. I didn't see whether that actually went through. Yeah, they've said if the initial purchaser executes its option to upsize, basically. But yeah, a little bit of sort of people freaked out as to why they're not just investing their cash. They've got 5 billion sitting there, seemingly doing very little, getting eroded away. So I said I would come back to the global M2 growth that I've been watching. This is sort of a very slow moving chart, moves once a week, and the global M2 doesn't exactly shoot up. It's not Bitcoin. It sort of moves like 1% maybe a week. And unfortunately, it has been a slightly down week. It's gone down from 109 trillion to 108. So everyone and his brother seems to be posting these charts now of global M2 growth, with Bitcoin sort of offset by 50 days, 70 days, 100 days, and saying that where we got this bottom in liquidity, that with a lag, Bitcoin should catch up to this. But I'm sort of looking at, if that is true, basically, how far this run sort of would last. So it would be nice to sort of see this carry on ticking up. Otherwise, sort of the range would indicate that we sort of go back up to around these sort of all-time highs, but not too much further unless this M2 goes up. So fingers crossed. And a quick look at the coins for the week. Very much a mixed bag. Bitcoin is down 1.3%. Solana down 4.3%. Ethereum actually worst performer for the week, down 8%. And then Chainlink down 4.4%. Helium down 4%. Jito up 2.3%. Metaplex up 1.75%. So they're the only two positives. And Honey 4.5% down, and Radium 1.83% down. It has been noted that Pump.Fund's new DEX has sort of overtaken and potentially, I think, become the largest DEX on Solana. So yeah, Radium has sort of taken a hit, and it's unsure sort of whether they can regain their dominance. So things aren't looking great. That was potentially a bad swap. But yeah, got to take these ones on the chin. It was a small, relatively small position compared to the others. So leave your thoughts in comments below, and like and subscribe. See you soon.